Well, the fate of alleged serial killer Billy Chemirmir is in the hands of the jury. Jurors are deliberating whether to convict him of capital murder in the death of Lou Harris.
You know, and from what we've heard, a verdict could come tonight or tomorrow, very soon. Our Rebecca Lopez is covering this case gavel to gavel and joins us live from the courthouse with some insight on what's happening right now.
Well, Chris, look, the jury has been deliberating since about 3:45, and we've been watching for that red light that indicates whether or not they have a verdict or a question. It's been going on and off for the last 10 minutes. Our photographer inside the courtroom, though, is telling us that they have a question or they want a break. So we're not sure that we have a verdict. Of course, we'll bring it to you as soon as we know. But here's what the jury heard earlier today.
His greed was more important to him than the life of Lou Harris.
Prosecutors told the jury during closing arguments that Billy Chemirmir preyed on his elderly victims by stalking them, sometimes while they were out grocery shopping. That's why they gave them evidence in 3 cases.
Because you have the cases of Mary Bartell and Mary Sue Brooks to go along with it, you know now that when they were shopping in that Walmart, when they were running their errands, he was in his hunting grounds.
Prosecutors presented evidence tracking Chemirmir's movements with his cell phone records. Families said they gasped in the viewing room when they heard testimony that cell phone records tracked him to one of the victims' homes and then 9 minutes later to the Dallas Gold and Diamond Exchange where her jewelry was sold, showing video of him there.
It's like he went to the bank and took somebody's life and then cashed it in.
An assistant manager testified that since 2015, Chemirmir sold more than $91,000 in jewelry at that store alone. That jewelry belonged to some of the victims.
To him are just walking dollar signs.
After the prosecution rested its case, the defense attorneys had Chemirmir stand up and then advised him that he had the right to testify, but he declined. The defense then rested its case, presenting no evidence, instead telling the jury prosecutors muddied the water by presenting 3 cases instead of 1.
But what you can't get caught up on is grouping all that together.
Prosecutors say that was the point, showing a pattern and that it was not a coincidence. Chemirmir was at the same locations with the victims who ended up dead and then with their jewelry and even one of the victims' house keys in his possession. Now the jury is trying to decide if Chemirmir is guilty of capital murder or theft, or if he is innocent. If he is convicted of capital murder, he faces an automatic life sentence because the DA says that he is not seeking the death penalty in this case, and they're still expecting perhaps a verdict today, but of course we'll let you know as soon as we know. Back to you.